you doing? This is Black Shy Guy here. Welcome to another video, and as always, make sure you hit the like button if you really enjoyed the video, and also subscribe if you're not a resident of Chi-Town yet. And as always, sincerely, thank you for sitting at my table. Today we are going to discuss something that's going on in the political news that's hitting waves, and it's all about the deportation of exactly 261 non-citizen criminals that for some odd reason people tend to care about. I don't know what it is. For some reason, people who dislike Trump prefer the consequence just to get on his damn nerves. You rather live with criminals just to defy Donald Trump. We all understand you don't like him. We all understand you don't like him. I'm talking about the people who are left-leaning. We understand you don't like them, but you really rather live in a society full of criminals. For some odd reason, this judge, who, let me say, is a freaking Biden-appointed judge, wanted Trump to basically turn the plane around for five particular individuals that was supposedly on the plane on their way to being deported. He wanted the whole plane to turn around. Like, let me start by saying Trump administration used the Aliens Enemies Act, which basically doesn't allow non-citizens to go before a federal judge or immigration. So now this judge is trying to block that after Trump used that law. But let's dive in.
One illegal MS-13 gang members, some MS-13 ringleaders. Donald Trump is calling them terrorists because many of them don't have America's best interest in mind, and they're here illegally. So he puts them on planes.
If there's individuals that doesn't have America's best interest in mind, why would you want them here? Why would you even in the slightest give them an opportunity to be here? Once again, that judge is an appointed Joe Biden judge. He's just doing it to be spiteful. He's not doing it for your best interest, and I'm talking about the individuals who are for the left. He's not doing it for your best interest. He's just doing it to be spiteful.
He sends them to El Salvador, and in the middle of those flights, a judge says, no, you have to stop. You have to turn these planes around. And then Donald Trump says, well, they're not in American airspace anymore, so it's too little too late. The judge is now giving Donald Trump until noon today to file briefings and to answer these 4 questions. Do you want to read these questions?
Yeah, so he has a few questions. He says that he wants to know how many planes departed the United States at any point on Saturday carrying any people being deported solely on the basis.
Okay, let's go. Despite the fact that he's reading, I want to read it myself. How many planes departed the U.S. on Saturday carrying any people being deported solely on the basis of this proclamation? How many people in that category were on each plane? What foreign country or countries did these planes land in? And what time did these planes take off from the U.S.? Because he wants to find out if the planes actually took off after he invoked that law against Trump. But let's see.
Of this proclamation. He also wants to know how many people in the category were on each plane, what foreign country or countries did these planes land in, and what time did these planes take off from the United States and from where?
Well, and here's the thing. This all came to a head on Saturday night, and it is because late Saturday, just before the flights took off, apparently the ACLU and another group sued the federal government, and they went before the judge and they started talking about what to do. And the judge issued an order from the bench. It was an oral order. He said, OK, turn those planes around. And now the White House says, well, it wasn't until it didn't take effect essentially until the written order came out. So right now it's all about the timeline and stuff. Ultimately, what the judge wants to know is whether or not that original lawsuit where the ACLU filed against the federal government to keep 5 Venezuelans off the plane.
5 Venezuelans. You can't make this shit up, man. All of this. Like, I mean, let's continue.
He wants to know whether or not those people went on the plane. From what I read.
And supposedly those people did not get on the plane. They did not get on the plane. So
read, it sounds like they did not make the trip. And so that should satisfy them. And ultimately, the federal government has broad latitude when it comes to enforcing immigration and stuff like this. So it'll be interesting to see what happens today.
And remember who this judge.
So obviously, when you watch this video, whatever happens at noon has already happened. But obviously, this is utterly ridiculous. And I want to show you guys this, right? Because I want to show you how the prisons over there, how they treat their prisoners.
Hours after President Trump invoked an 18th century wartime law, alleged members of Venezuela's prison gang, Tren de Aragua, arriving in El Salvador. The Salvadorian president sharing this dramatic video on X depicting TDA and MS-13 gang members hauled off into a plane, thrown into a bus, and then their heads shaved as they're now being held in an infamous terrorism confinement center. Man. A senior Trump administration official telling News Nation in total, 261 illegal aliens were deported to El Salvador, of which 137 were deported using that Alien Enemies Act.
And El Salvador, don't get it twisted, they got paid to take these people. Don't get it twisted, they got paid to take all these people.
The timing comes as a federal judge actually blocked deportation flights after Trump invoked that law from 1798. But the Trump administration is firing back now, saying it did not violate that ruling because the planes were already in international airspace.
Like, they shave them, they do. I mean, I'm not sure if it's going to show any more of how they are treated because, I mean, let's see. Look how, I mean, keeping their head down. They're not playing with them. They're like, take that damn hair off. They are not playing with these people. I mean, is the El Salvador prisons like that? Look at. They're not, and look how big the freaking guards are. That's what, I mean, that doesn't happen here in the United States. The United States prison over here is like you're on a beach. It's like you're having fun. You got no bills. You're having the time of your life. You're hanging with your friends. That's what needs to be happening here in the United States. The way the prisoners are treated in El Salvador needs to happen here in the United States. Track me. It is crazy. I would love to know the majority of what you guys think. Are you happy Trump is deporting criminals? Basically, people that don't have the best interest in mind for this country? Or are you one of those, despite the fact that you hate Trump, you only wish to defy him. You only wish to get on his nerves. So you are willing to live with these criminals who have no interest in your safety whatsoever. I would love to know your explanation if you are actually one of those people. This is Black Shy Guy, and as always, I thank you for sitting at my table. Make sure you like the button if you enjoyed this video, and also subscribe if you're not a resident of Chi-Town. I'm out of here. Peace.